What is going on, my Clashing friends and Galafam members? Thank you so much for stopping by to check out some Clash Royale action. A lot of this you can actually catch live, and you can talk to me live on the live streaming app Camcord. That is where I stream a couple times a week. The app is free for both Android and iOS users. You can download it, follow me, and never miss a stream. And I often have gift cards to give away, helping you guys out with some free gems. Now, in today's video, I'm using a deck that I'm really having a lot of success with, but I'm facing the exact same deck, and I've got to face the facts. There is no such thing as a secret deck because these top players are very likely to get featured on Clash Royale whenever they've got an unusual deck combination that wins, and they are in the top 50 of all Clash Royale players. So right here, it's the Pekka, Hog Rider, Wizard, Elixir Collector deck, and really those are the anchor cards. Those 4 cards, by far, the key cards to this deck. Okay, and the Freeze Spell. Okay, and the Arrows, and the Valkyrie. All right, every card is important in this deck, and every card is going to work to counter some other sort of setup from your opponent, and you're pretty much not left with any weak spots in this deck that I've seen so far anyway. There's an ability, if the cards are used correctly, to counter any other deck. Now, obviously, you like to have that Elixir Collector out in front like both of us have played there. It is going to serve as a distraction and, of course, boost your Elixir. You've got the Freeze and the Hog, the Pekka with the Wizard behind it, also very strong for getting to the tower. Here, the Hog Rider is coming out after me and is going to get targeted by both towers at the same time. So I choose not to deal with the Hog Rider and instead save my Elixir for a push of my own. Now, of course, when you're facing the identical deck, obviously things like this can happen where you get 2 Pekkas going down at the same time, and I placed this one really far forward, not usually what I do, and it's not ideal for this battle, especially against another player with the same deck. But I've got the Freeze Spell, or he's got the, who dropped the Freeze Spell? We both dropped Freeze Spells, I don't even know. But the idea there was to try to freeze the opponent, and there it is. Get that Hog to the tower, get the tower down. So I've got the early 1 crown lead. However, that hard push left me vulnerable, and he's pushing from both lanes. The Hog Rider getting to the tower. On the left-hand side, I've chosen to try to deal with that Pekka because it can take that tower down in just a couple of shots. And with that Freeze Spell, it looks like my tower is in big trouble. Doing my best to try to stop the push with a Pekka of my own, but the tower is down, and colored name player there gets the score tied 1 crown to 1. So the interesting thing about these battles is not only are you facing a player with the exact same deck and probably just about the same levels, not completely, but you also are probably, because you're at the same trophy level then, maybe facing a player that has a similar skill set and is about as good as you at the game, and that makes for some close battles. Obviously, as you can see here, we are going into overtime, and I'm in big trouble. It looks like my right tower just about is going to go down, but I finally stopped that push, and I've got a Pekka on the move, and once again, the Pekka on the other side, but the Hog Rider going in. The Freeze Spell could do it, but no, the Hog Rider fails, and well, I fail. I dropped the freeze way too late. That does not work out. That was terrible timing. Wanted to get that freeze down while the Hog Rider was still there, but the Freeze Spell against me there stops the Pekka from getting to the tower and lets his tower and his Wizard single-handedly wipe me out. Right there, that Hog Rider is going to do it almost. Just barely stopping the Hog Rider. We are down into the last 20 seconds of this overtime. I've got the Pekka, Hog Rider, Valkyrie on the move. Here they come, getting to the tower. The Freeze Spell goes down, but again, not in time. The Hog Rider can't do it. Annihilated by the defensive Pekka. Time is counting down, but my Pekka is going to finally get to the tower. And with 2 seconds left, the tower goes down. 2 seconds left in overtime. The twin decks, and Galadon just barely pulls out the 2-1 crown win. But that would not be the last time I would see this deck. Far from it. This is probably just the beginning of facing this deck. And again, you can see the Elixir Collector is going to go up early. One of the keys to this deck is if you have the Elixir Collector available to you at the start, that is a big advantage. Now, obviously, this player is using a slightly different strategy, protecting that Elixir Collector. I like it out front because early on, if you drop it, it does leave you pretty low on Elixir and gives your opponent the opportunity to rush you, and you can stop that rush by sacrificing the Elixir Collector. There, the Hog Rider came in, we got the Hog down, and I'm going to push down the right-hand side with my own Hog, getting it to the tower, and beautiful freeze, stopping the tower, the wizard, and the Valkyrie simultaneously. It is only when he drops his own freeze, because he has the same deck, that he prevents more damage. But the early advantage goes to Galadon on that exchange, that first exchange. The opponent, though, still has the elixir collector up, so there is that elixir advantage building for the opponent. And there it is once again. The key here, I am not doing it in these battles, but ideally, when you face off with your Pekka, you want to be defending rather than be on the other side of the tower. I've said that in previous videos. The key is to use your tower to your advantage. Here it works out okay because the Pekka doesn't get in and doesn't get a single shot on my tower. And we're back to reset, and we're both building up those elixir collectors once again. Now, by this point in the match, over halfway in, I realize that I'm facing the exact same deck, so I know that this is going to be a close battle to the end, and it's just going to be a matter of gaining the advantage with those freeze spells. And once again, the hog to the tower and the freeze on the Valkyrie, the wizard, and the tower. But again, my opponent using the freeze spell of his own and the goblins to stop me from making a big push right there. And then the arrows take out his goblins, do a little bit of damage to everybody else in the area. But the wizard, the Valkyrie, and his own hog rider back on the move, defending with the Pekka, which is a great defensive unit for stopping large groups of troops, princes, hog riders, anything coming your way. But yet again, we are going to be fighting this Pekka battle on his side of the tower, of the river rather, and that is definitely not what we want. We want that advantage on our side. The freeze spells, both of us dropping freeze spells, freezing everything. And me, though, I've got time to drop yet another Pekka. So I've got twin Pekka pushing forward. He's got another Pekka. Pekka Paradise right here. Those Pekkas are all over the place and pretty much fighting on the bridge. But again, you can see the advantage goes to my opponent who had the tower on his side the whole time. And it doesn't look good right here. That is a huge push. Lots of units coming in. The freeze spell goes down, stops my tower, stops my wizard. Finally, I get my own freeze spell back up, and now we're into overtime, and nobody has gotten a tower down yet. But check it out as my hog rider makes the charge. Nobody's got a freeze spell left, and that means the hog takes the tower down so quickly into overtime on a battle that just nobody could get a tower down in the first 3 minutes, 8 seconds into OT, and that quick moving hog rider grabs the clutch win. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end of this episode. I appreciate every last one of you guys, and there's not a day in my life that goes by that I don't remember how grateful I am to have dedicated subscribers, likers, and viewers like you, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more Full Attacks. Galadon, dedicated likers, is that even a thing?